everyone knows I hold our patrons near and dear to my heart. What I didn't realize was that kind of protection is apparently necessary. I need you all close to my heart because apparently there's a giant sack of fluid around it that's not supposed to be there. So like, I need as many of you all as possible to form like a phalanx or some shit and keep this thing safe. Merrick is our newest friend helping keep me safe this week. Thanks, friend. If you're interested in forming the apparently super necessary protective barrier around my heart, both metaphorical and literal, head over to patreon.com/theatheistmanifesto and consider a pledge to support the show. Thanks, friends. Your source for news, commentary, discussion, and debate at the intersection of the atheist movement and the LGBT rights movement. This is the Atheist Manifesto. Hello, dear friends, and welcome to the Atheist Manifesto. I am your host, Callie Wright, joined once again by the fabulous, the wonderful, the amazing Ari Stillman. What's up, Ari?
Just sitting here eating fish sticks because I'm gay. That's a South Park
two
joke.
Things are related?
Yeah, that's a South Park joke. You're too pure. You don't get it.
I'm too, yeah. I don't know. I saw every, like, up to, like, season 10, I think I saw. And then it just became like, oh, we're going to make fun of anyone who cares about literally everything because it's only cool to not give a shit. Like, okay, guys, cool, awesome, great.
But we're not here to talk about those guys.
Right, fair. That's good. That's good. Keep us on topic, Ari, before we've even announced the topic. I appreciate you. That is quality.
They know the topic. They've seen the title of the show.
That is fair. We are once again doing a good news episode because it has been some time since we have done one of these. And
some good
I think
news.
I did get the Homestar Runner joke. So,
there you go.
So thank you for that. That was a great gerb. Oh, God. Tracy Harris trying to do Coach Z. That's one of my favorite memories ever. Anyways, so a personal philosophy of mine, and it's fine if this is not where you're at because everybody deals with these kinds of things differently. But for me personally, I think it's important to do these things sometimes when you least feel like doing them. And it's not that I feel the least like doing it at this exact moment in time. But the fact is I have had a really shitty last couple of days and I was ready to just be like, look, we're just going to skip this week because I'm not in the right headspace. I've had a lot of shit going on. But then I thought, you know what? We haven't done a good news episode in a while. And like, I need a little positivity in my life. So we're going to do the thing. So real briefly, I'll lay the context for that. I'm going to tell my story about why I haven't had a good time the last couple of days. So that's going to be like the one part of this that maybe isn't so happy, except it does have a happy ending in that I'm okay. But the TLDR version, I went to the emergency room because I had some pretty severe stomach pain on Saturday night. It actually woke me up out of bed. I'd gone to bed early at like 7 p.m. I woke up about 9 and I mean, it just felt like my stomach was going to explode. And I've had that kind of pain before. It was worse than it had been in the past, but it was the same kind of pain. It was just more intense. And I kind of tried to ride it out for a couple of minutes. And eventually I just walked out and I was like, look, Celeste, we got to go to the emergency room because I don't know what's going on. Like, I feel like something's going to explode and I'm like really worried that something's wrong. And so we pack everything up. We get to the ER. The person who does the registration doesn't put my name in the system right, which is fun. Everybody was calling me Ann, which is my middle name, because on the Ohio driver's license, it has middle name, last name at the top, and then your first name underneath, I think, which is really silly. So like they came out and they're like, Ann, and I'm like, that's my middle name. There's one other person here. Is she Ann? No. Okay. You're here for me. So yeah, that was the whole thing. So they asked me a bunch of questions. They have to poke me like 6 times to get blood, which is really fun. And then, while we're waiting on the tests to come back and they're like, do you want something for pain? And I'm like, good God, yes, I want something for pain because this is miserable. And before they come back with the blood work and before they even get back with the pain medicine, all the pain goes away. Like, over the course of about 2 minutes, it starts lessening and it's just gone. And I'm like, cool. So we're going to spend the evening in the ER because my stomach got pissed that I ate something it didn't like. Like, that's probably what this is going to come down to. And So they come back, like pain meds at the ready, and I'm like, all joking aside, drugs, her. All joking aside, I really don't like to take those kind of drugs unless I have to, especially pain meds. So I was like, no, I'm good. I'm not in any pain. And they're like, well, we want to run a CT scan just to be sure. I'm like, that's fair, because I would like to know if there's something wrong down there that's making this happen. Like, let's figure that out. And so they run a CT. Takes forever to come back, and the doctor comes back in, and he's like, hey, so good news. Everything with your belly looks good. No complications with your surgery. All of that looks fine. But question, have you ever had a history of heart problems? And I was like, what the fuck do you mean heart problems? What are we talking about here? And he's like, yeah, so we found a cardiac effusion, which is basically a giant sack of fluid around your heart. That's not supposed to be there. Huh. Okay. So he asked me like 6 different ways. Any tightness in your chest, pain in your chest, shortness of breath, any of that kind of stuff. I'm like, no, like literally none of that. Nothing like that's in any way considered a problem that's indicative of a heart problem. I've experienced literally none of that. Okay, are you sure? Like 6 different times. No, I'm sure. And he's like, okay, well, we're going to run an EKG. There's a blood test to see if your heart's damaged. And like, that all looked good. So they were like, we're just going to send you home, call a cardiologist on Monday just to get that looked at. But like, you're not having symptoms, so it's probably okay, at least for now. So fine, we go home. Lo and behold, I wake up Sunday morning and I all of a sudden have symptoms. Probably psychosomatic, probably anxiety. But like, I just found out there's a giant sack of fucking fluid around my heart. So like, I'm not playing games with that. And so eventually it doesn't go away. Go back to the ER, and they're like, yeah, we're going to go ahead and admit you. So I spent the night in the hospital getting poked several more times for blood work, heart ultrasound, another EKG, no sleeping in the hospital, really bad food for them to say, yeah, we're going to send you home, call a cardiologist. But the good news is that like that all sucked. But the good news is like, at least for now, there is actually nothing wrong with my heart. Like they measured it in 10 different ways and everything is functioning as normal. The doctor said, you're cool to exercise. You're cool to just live normal life. Just pay attention to your body. And if you have problems, let somebody know. So that is the reason why we are doing this good news episode, because I am, I sound kind of like my upbeat self because we're recording a podcast, but in all seriousness, I am almost completely emotionally drained, aside from one of the things that I'm going to have in my good news. So let's move on and let's actually get to the good news. Ari, what do you got?
Well, I feel a little bad because I have actually been having a pretty good time lately. And I don't want to like shit on you or whatever for not having a good time. That's not what we're here to do. I don't want to like brag in your face or whatever.
This is why we're here. Brag.
Yeah, brag.
Be happy. Celebrate. Do the thing.
Well, there are several things I can talk about. One of the most important things is that, as listeners know, I've been struggling with my mental health on and off for a very long time. And I recently, about a month and a few weeks ago, saw a nurse practitioner about my medication, and she changed me to a new medication, and I am feeling way better.
Oh, that's so awesome.
Yes, I actually have motivation to do stuff. I'm not taking a bunch of naps. My mood is improved on most days. So I am very, very glad about that. I've been able to do better in school and not procrastinate on things, which is another good news thing, is that I have finished my first year of grad school. Yay.
So many good things. I love it.
So I'm in a 2-year master. Well, I can take 3 years to finish my master's degree, but I'm trying to do it in 2, which I should be able to do, and then going on to a PhD. So I finished my first year this summer. I am going to be working on my thesis and actually trying to get a literature review published that I wrote for a class. So that's really exciting. Hopefully I'll have my first publication like by this fall or so, if everything works out. I'm going to be studying for the GRE, which sucks. I hate it, but I got to do it.
What's the GRE? I don't know what that is.
It is the graduate record exam. That's the it's like the LSAT. It's like an exam that you take in order to get into grad school. I don't know what the LSAT is.
Okay. It's fine.
It's like the SAT for after undergrad.
I don't know what the I'm just kidding.
Oh my God.
SAT is.
But yeah, you have to submit your score to that in order to apply for grad school. And after 5 years, it expires. And lucky me, it's been 5 years since I took it last. So I was able to use it to get into my master's, but to get into my PhD, I'm going to have to take it again. So that kind of sucks. But Jeremiah has offered to help me study, which is very nice because the math part is the worst.
Yeah, the math part is the worst part of basically everything in my life. So I feel that.
I don't know if we've done a good news episode since I got my sweetness puppy.
I don't think so. And I really need you to gush.
Yes. Oh my goodness. Her name is Penelope. She is 2 years old. She is a quote unquote Boston Terrier mix. No, she's not. She's a Staffordshire Bull Terrier, which is a mini pit bull, basically. But she is absolutely one of the best things in my life right now. She gives me so much motivation and joy and happiness. And when we first adopted her, she was really terrified of everything. You know, she wouldn't even go outside. She would just, you know, shut down and tremble and not even be able to move. We'd have to pick her up and put her in the grass in order for her to go to the bathroom. She would jump anytime we moved or made noise. Like, she was really, really traumatized. And it's been, how long has it been now? It's been like almost 4 months since we've had her, and she has made so much incredible progress. She's turned into a sweet little snuggly puppy. She tries to play with the cat. She loves playing with other dogs, and she loves giving kisses and just being a sweet girl. She loves getting in the car and going on adventures where she used to be terrified to go in the car. So just having her has been really a huge benefit to my life for my mental health, and just having a feeling of fulfillment. Like I'm helping this little girl get over her trauma, and she's helping me get over my trauma too in some ways. So she is absolutely perfect.
That is legit. Like, I'm kind of crying because that's legit one of the coolest things I've heard like in a long time. Like, I love that so much, and I cannot wait to come out there and visit you and get to snuggle sweet PP.
I'm training her to actually be my service dog, although I won't need to take her in public very often. She'll mostly be working at home, but she's working to lay on top of me and do a thing called deep pressure therapy, which is good for like flashbacks and panic attacks. And also people use it for like seizures and passing out and stuff. It helps with that as well. And I'm training her to nudge my hand whenever I'm picking my skin, so that I'm like, oh, I'm doing that. Penelope says, stop doing that. So I'm training her to be able to help me. And she's a very, very sweet girl who loves to learn and loves to do good stuff. So now that school's over and I have more time to be able to train her, I think we're going to make some pretty good progress over the summer with that.
God, dogs are literally one of the best things in the world.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Like, I'm like, the practical side of me keeps saying, like, I don't want to throw away $300 on a pet deposit and then $30 a month in pet rent at our apartment. But damn it, I want a puppy. Like, for like, I mean, I want a life to love and take care of. And like, I don't have quite the level of things with anxiety and stuff that you do, but I do freak out a lot, especially the last couple of days, like knowing that there's something not totally right with my heart. Like, it's really, really weird. I've definitely felt anxious and panicky in situations before, to the point where I would almost say it's like a mild anxiety attack. But like, I'm pretty convinced that the symptoms that sent me to the ER were caused by anxiety, but it was like a physical manifestation of anxiety, because I wasn't actually feeling like emotionally anxious and panicky. And like, I've had plenty of people tell me that anxiety manifests in that way, but like, it's never done that for me. So it was really weird. And I know puppies can help with that.
Yeah.
And so like,
yeah,
because I have a feeling like I'm going to go to a cardiologist and they're going to be like, well, your heart is working totally fine, so this is a thing we're just going to have to keep an eye on, which means I'm always going to feel like I've got this like hanging over my head, like, oh, well, one day something's going to go wrong. You know what I mean? And so like, I don't know. I foresee more anxiety problems in my future thanks to my heart. So yeah, puppers are
great.
the greatest thing.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the best things for me, getting me out of, an anxiety attack or a flashback, is just getting licked by my doggy. It just snaps me back to reality and calms me down. So highly recommended to have a pup.
So good. So good. So I've got I always have Celeste to brag on, because we haven't done a good news episode since Celeste and I got married. So like, that's a thing. So Celeste and I are married now, which was awesome. Our wedding was not perfect because no wedding ever could be. It was an out of town wedding, so not everyone we wanted could come, but most of the people that we wanted to be there were able to show up, and it was amazing. And she's just amazing. And so one of the things that I promised myself at the beginning of the year, I've always been that person who's like, well, I don't do New Year's resolutions. Like if I want to make a change in my life, I'm just going to do it. But I thought like, you know what? Humans are creatures of habit, and we like ritual, and we like marking occasions. And I figure like, okay, I'm going to give this a shot and see what happens. And I said very nebulously, in 2018, I'm just going to spend more time doing things that are just for me. I'm going to do things that are like, I'm just going here and doing this because it makes me feel good and I'm having fun. Because the last couple of years, there's not been a lot of that. It's a lot of the podcast, which I love doing, don't get me wrong, but it's activism, it's emotional labor, right? And I'm happy to do it, but like I promised myself I was going to be a little bit more selfish, at least a little bit more selfish. And so it started with going to a con in DC where I got to do a panel about gayness and Star Trek and or the lack thereof. And so like that was really cool. And recently I started roller skating, and I've gone to a couple of roller derby classes. And so we're going to do a roller derby episode because I've already started networking with people because that's who I am as a human being.
You just couldn't not do that.
Yeah, well, podcasting is basically my life, and like this is turning into that. So like the two have to meet somewhere at some point. So what's cool about roller derby is it is an explicitly trans-inclusive sport. So the Women's Flat Track Derby Association has a gender statement on their website specifically saying that trans women, intersex women, and non-binary folks are welcome in roller derby, in all of the official sanctioned matches and the official sanctioned teams. And to be sanctioned as a team, you have to agree to that, right? And so it's spelled out. But of course we know that, policy and the application of the policy aren't always the same thing. And so how this whole thing started was a couple of people from work were like, hey, we're going roller skating tonight. You want to come? It'll be fun. And I'm like, hey, you know what? I haven't been roller skating in years. I remember it being fun. I'll give it a shot. What the hell? Let's see what happens. And so I went, and I was like, I'm somehow still okay at this. Not good by any stretch of the imagination, but I'm like, I'm okay. Like I can get going, I can get to a certain speed, and I can like cross over and do turns and stuff. I'm like, I'm doing okay. And then it dawned on me, I was thinking I'm down as far as I'm going to get with weight loss. Exercise, like regular exercise, is just boring to me. And I had been thinking I need to find a sport to play. And I had said that to somebody else, and somebody had said roller derby, because I have friends in the queer community who are into roller derby. And I was like, oh yeah, that sounds like a cool idea. And it just kind of left my mind. But then like I started skating and I was really having fun, and I was like, roller derby. I'm gonna have to look into this. And so I found there are 2 classes that happen in Cincinnati, the Cincinnati Roller Girls and the Black and Bluegrass Roller Girls, which is like the Northern Kentucky roller derby team. And they do classes. It's $5 to go. And there's people of all skill levels, like total beginners like me, and people who actually play real deal matches in league games. And everybody is like so welcoming and positive, and like, the thing that appeals to me is I used to play sports in high school. I wrestled and I played football, and the environment that I was in was the very stereotypical, like homophobic, like bro douchebag sort of environment. Like every time you do something wrong, you get called a homophobic slur, and like you're a sissy, and you're like a namby-pamby girly boy, like all of that silly stuff, right? Kind of a toxic environment. But I do really like the toughness, the like, go do the thing. You're doing it wrong. Here's how to do it right. You did it right. Good job. High five. Go fucking do it again. Like that sort of tough attitude that doesn't come with all of the toxicity, right? It's like, no, I'm going to push you to do better. And that's the sort of athleticism that really appeals to me. And part of the reason that I quit playing sports was because I couldn't find that. And at least in the 3 classes that I've been to thus far, that's really what I have found. It's a bunch of really tough people, really nice, but tough, like trying to get better and have fun knocking people around and skating. And like, it's just so freaking cool. And I'm really excited about it. There's really cool strategy, and it's amazing. Like, I would highly recommend anyone, like, just go to YouTube and look up roller derby matches, because it's like, there are some seriously tough ass women who do this stuff. And there are men's and co-ed leagues too, which is pretty cool. But it's a very femme centric sport, which I appreciate. And it's just so gay, like so gay. Like, I have not been to a class where there haven't been people like wearing rainbows and unicorns and shit, like stickers on their helmets and stuff. Like, it is so gay, and I love every minute of it. And then honorable mention for my good news is Steven Universe. Being in the hospital, being in the ER, being really down, I've had a lot of time to binge on shows. And so Celeste and I have been going through Steven Universe, and I am so head over heels in love. I was saying the same thing about Adventure Time, and I think I like Steven Universe better. Because, like, for those who don't know, Steven Universe is so gay, like so gay. And
that's literally
fantastic.
The only thing I know about it is that it has to do with gems and crystals, and it's gay.
Gay space rocks.
Yes.
Yeah, is basically what it comes down to. So that's what I got good going. That's what I got good going on in my life. So let's talk some news. All right, do you have a news story?
I do, because
all right,
I followed through on assignments, and you said, "All right, get a news story," and I said, "Okay."
You're my hero.
I know it. This is not really a like political global thing that will have any huge impact on the world, but this is a story that I found just a little ray of human kindness that you can see if you look close enough, which unfortunately a lot of people don't. And, you know, more of it needs to happen. There's not nearly enough. But I found an article talking about the experience of this woman who lives in New York City, who was on the subway coming home from work. And she witnessed a pretty amazing scene, and she took a picture and posted about it on Facebook. And I'm just going to read her post, and then there's a little bit of follow-up. So today, on my way from work, the guy in the red sat down, opened up his folder, and started reading. A few stops later, the guy next to him sat down and asked him what he's studying. "You look a little confused. Maybe I can help," he says. His son failed a math test. They're learning fractions, so I'm just teaching myself this over again. So I can help him. I'm 42 and I don't know any of this, so I'm reteaching myself. The guy in the black informed him that he used to be a math teacher, so he asked the guy to quiz him. And everything he got wrong or was confused about, he broke it down and corrected him. By the end of the train ride, the guy in the red had a better understanding, so he could bring home a new method and teach his child. I really love seeing shit like this, especially in New York, because we really just don't give a fuck about what the person next to us is going through. So there was basically, for a little bit more detail, there was a guy on a train. His son was having trouble in math, so he was trying to be able to help his son with his math. And, you know, he hadn't been in school for a long time, and he was never a very good math student himself. And so he was trying to reteach himself fractions, and he wasn't understanding. And this random guy just goes, "Hey, I am, you know, a retired math teacher, and I can help you out." And he teaches this guy, and by the end of the trip, the guy's like, "Oh my God, I understand fractions now, and I can teach this to my kid." Update, he did go home and teach it to his kid, and his kid got a 100 on the next test after failing his previous math tests.
That's so good.
Yeah. Again, it's not something that's going to probably change the entire world unless this, you know, kid grows up to be some amazing physicist or scientist, which could happen. You know, that happens sometimes. But it was just nice to see just somebody caring about somebody else, and then that person being able to take that kindness that they got from a complete stranger and translate that into being able to help teach their kid and help their kid achieve great things. And that father really cared about his son, obviously. He's trying to relearn math so he can help his kid.
Oh, gosh, that makes me so happy. I love stuff like that. And so the story that I found is it's a little bit more impactful than that, but it's an illustration of human kindness. So before I get there though, I'm going to do my honorable mention. So both of my stories I found on a website called sunnyskies.com, and it's skyz.com. And, this is basically just a happy news website. And so my honorable mention for a good news story, the headline is animal shelters are teaching cats how to high five to make them more attractive for adoption. And it's got a picture of this super tough, long hair, long bearded dude high-fiving a cat. And it's just so great.
So sweet.
And so literally they're just training cats to high five, which is just, I love, like, I'm not even that much of a cat person, but like, I love watching cats high five people. And they're doing it to get, more cats adopted, which I'm always into. Like, I like seeing animals go to loving homes.
You hear that, Tina? You can't high five, so you're going back to the shelter.
So my main story, and this one starts out as something bad, but it's about a group of people coming together to help somebody out. So this is in Michigan. There was a guy who was standing on a highway overpass, ready to jump. And the police were trying to figure out how they can keep this guy from hurting himself. And so they stop traffic and they go and they get these semi-truck drivers to drive their trucks underneath the underpass. So if the guy jumped, he would only have like 5 or 6 feet to fall, and probably, he might get hurt, but at least he wouldn't die. And there are these amazing pictures of these semi trucks just lined up underneath this overpass. And it's like, you've got 13 guys here, or gals or people in their trucks. They're going about their business, doing their job, trying to drive somewhere. And they're like, nope, we're going to stop because we know somebody's in trouble and we want to do something to help. And so they park their trucks underneath the bridge while somebody talked this guy down. And, I don't know, that's just, maybe that's not the perfect happy news story because it starts with a pretty rough circumstance, but I love hearing stories like that, or people decide that it's their business to help someone in need. Kind of like your story, Ari.
Yeah.
Nobody would be blamed for driving by and thinking like, what's that guy doing up there? Or nobody would be blamed for like, oh, there's that guy reading a math book, wonder what he's up to. And just keep, like, nobody's gonna think you're a bad person for doing that, right? But like, you decide that you see someone in need and you make the decision that like, I'm going to try to make it my business to help this person if I can and if they want it. And like, if they don't, cool. But like, somebody's in distress, I'm in a position to do something about it. So I'm going to do something about it. And I love stories like that.
People aren't all shitty, just
right,
mostly
which
shitty.
is that's a thing that I have needed to be reminded of a lot lately for lots of reasons.
For the last, 2 years or so, we've needed to be reminded of that.
Yeah. What was it that happened? No, good news episode. Never mind. And so
the man who shall not be named.
Right. So we always end our good news episodes with celebrating good news from our friends. I made a post on Facebook asking folks to share their good news, and people responded in force. So, Ari, do you want to go first?
We have here, first submission from Brian, who said, after a lot of stress and setbacks, my wife and I have finally moved into our new house, which we own and don't rent. And as a positive side effect, our 2 cats have actually started getting along. All you had to do is move into a new house, and all of a sudden the cats are friends.
The cats are fans of the decor, I guess.
Yes.
Ingrid's insurance finally got reinstated.
Maddie graduated with her BS degree. She said that's so perfect that her degree is BS. And she passed her boards and is now done with 3 additional years of school. Congratulations.
That's so cool. Jules says that Logan, who is Jules' partner, got a new job and is moving in with Jules. Very excited. And Logan responded, Jules, don't lie to Callie. You're really excited that my cat and bearded dragon are moving in with you. Which, like, I can't blame you.
That's a bonus.
Yeah, and there are very cute animal pictures.
Oh, there are lots of great animal newses on this thread, such as Whitney, who says, we adopted 2 puppies and only monsters don't like puppies. I totally agree.
Oh.
There's a picture of the puppies there. They are so cute.
I could not agree
Looks
more.
like a German Shepherd and possibly a pit bull. One of them is really tiny, so I can't really tell what breed it is.
My dear friend Vonda says, I am getting hearing aids as an experimental treatment in 29 minutes. And that was 6 hours ago. So she will have gotten them by now. Dylan, who is Vonda's partner, Dylan is her husband, actually, and found out that he had an HSA account he hadn't touched for 5 years, and he gave it all to me. It halved my hearing aid costs. I ugly cried. Huzzah!
Once I get to the right place from scrolling, Larry, friend of mine, said, I just passed all my classes for my 2nd semester of my bachelor's degree.
Larry's my friend too.
Okay, well,
It's fine.
He's my friend first, okay? I don't know. I actually don't know who his friends with first. Probably you. It's usually you.
Well, I know. All I know is I spent like 2 or 3 hours in the airport talking to him about podcast stuff one day. So that was
fine. We can both have him. Whatever.
Elizabeth says, my depression has been bad and I feel invisible lately. At the age of 43, I've decided to dye my hair blue. I am so into this. Amazing.
That's awesome.
I want to see pictures of your blue hair.
Alicia, who was a guest previously on our show, one of our more powerful episodes, she told her story of escaping from her abusive ex-husband. And that her good news is related to that. She said, thanks to you allowing me to tell my story, I've had the opportunity to help support 7 people who have left or are leaving their abusers and fighting their oppression. I have channeled my anger into positive outcomes.
Like,
that's so awesome.
This whole thing could be over with tomorrow and that would be enough.
Yep.
Knowing that's a thing. Like, that's absolutely amazing. And Alicia, you're a badass and we love you dearly. Lou, Star Trek friend. Love Lou. We have a contract on the old house and close in 2 weeks. Hooray for 1 mortgage. God, I can't imagine 2 mortgages. That sounds like a nightmare.
Our friend Jim Dobler said, I have a new job. It pays more, I like it better, and they provide a vehicle. There's no downside. Well, okay. Yeah, that sounds pretty great.
My friend Ariel, I am so excited for her. I'm going to New York for 8 days and I'm gonna dick the fuck down.
What does that mean? Like you're gonna have a lot of sex, or you're gonna
I am
party?
fairly certain that's what that means.
Okay. Either way, sounds fun.
Yes. Oh, I've been watching Ariel's posts about how excited she is about New York. And like, I don't blame her because New York's awesome, but she is like particularly in love with New York and I am very excited for her.
Amanda says, I'm getting a complicated surgery on June 8th and I am so looking forward to feeling better. I just cleared the last test yesterday.
Yes. Hooray for feeling better. I hope everything goes well. Keep us updated. Mwah. Rachel says, Hubs and I fixed some shit that was causing our marriage to be not so hot, and now it is. Well, super hot. That's the best thing right now. So into it. I can kind of read between the lines, maybe, but awesome.
Tim, who is the social media manager for Puzzle in a Thunderstorm, said, I'm making a financial survival living by doing Facebook stuff. Literally the perfect work from home job. Thanks, Puzzle in a Thunderstorm.
Yes. Jen says, I'm prepping for Pride Month at work, which includes the company-wide introduction of our TQ plus ERG and asking all associates to add pronouns to our email signatures. And I'm guessing TQ plus means trans and queer plus all the other things. And ERG is Employee Resource Group. So that's pretty awesome.
Briar's name change went through. And they say, I'm now in the process of updating it everywhere. The best thing is finally being able to make purchases with my debit card without dead naming myself. It's such a relief.
I viscerally understand this.
My debit card still has my old last name on it because the people at my bank were totally confused that I changed all 3 of my names at once. So they sent me a new card that had the first and middle name corrected, but the last name was still wrong. And then I went back and they're like, oh, we'll send you a new card. And the new card was still wrong, but they changed it on my account. So I'm just like, whatever. Anyway, congrats, Briar. I'm bitter.
Yeah, that's fair. No, like I remember what like, that was so stressful. And like anything that happens that brings my dead name back into play, just it just makes the hair on the back of my neck stand up. And
I have to buy
very,
a new
very
phone
excited.
soon, and my old name is still on the account, and I'm like, ah. But it has to be done.
But Penelope's going to be there to lick you through it.
She won't be in the store, but she will. She will be at home waiting for me to come home and give me kisses.
Our friend John, I started playing tennis again with my Nintendo Wii to get exercise, and I am waiting on delivery of a new sofa. Wii is such good exercise. Like, yeah.
Lee said, my daughter is coming home from college this weekend weekend. My daughter is coming home from college this weekend, and a buddy I haven't spoken to in 21 years reached out to me. It's like old times. Wow.
Amazing. Matt says, my favorite person survived surgery last week, and like, I'm a total worrywart, so I was worried, so that's good. I know those feels, friend, because I am a worrier myself.
I don't know Mary, but I want to be her best friend. She said, I'm having the best sex I've ever had in my whole life. And then as an addendum, and I just got my nose pierced, but obviously the sex is more important.
Friend Jordan, I'm giving a TEDx talk in New York Saturday on wealth inequality. So excited. That's freaking awesome. That is a bucket list item of mine to give a TED talk or a TEDx talk. So I am super, super jealous.
Lorena, unfortunately, did not have good news to share. She said she's having a rough time. So we are here to offer our condolences.
We love you lots, and I will post a link to this episode as a reply to that comment, and hopefully it will lift Lorena's spirits. Oh, that's
now
my
it's
turn
you.
next, which is great because it references something I did. So our dear friend, Marissa McCool, one of my best friends in the world, called me and my girlfriend's pictures, quote, oppressively gay. I love both of those gorgeous women. And spoiler alert, I was the friend who called her and her girlfriend's pictures oppressively gay. And I am proud of having done so.
Jonathan said, I have managed to graduate another kiddo past the age of 16. She is a wonderful young lady. And I think that good parents is good news.
Absolutely. Rebecca says, my house is organized and clean. I have been feeling as though I live in domestic bliss, and I find great contentment in my family and life. And I identify so hard with this. Like, I've been feeling sort of domestic lately. Like, I actually I enjoy cleaning and organizing the house and like getting laundry together because it just makes me feel like I'm accomplishing things. And then like coming home and having dinner with Celeste and snuggling on the couch. Like, I wouldn't call it bliss necessarily because obviously like, I mean, Celeste and I are married, but we haven't been together a super long time. So to some degree, we're still figuring each other out a little bit. So like, I don't know if I would call it bliss, and I don't know that bliss really exists, but like, I've been feeling a very deep sense of contentment and satisfaction in just sort of like domestic living as a family. So like, I'm with that, and it's amazing.
Yesterday, I was making a salad to eat with my dinner or lunch or whatever. They're meals. I don't know which one it was. And so I made my salad, and then I made 2 additional salads to eat later on other days. And I was like, what is wrong with me? What is happening? I don't do this stuff. But it's a good thing.
That is. Yeah. It's awesome. I am super proud of you. Melanie says, I started the ketogenic diet. Oh, no, that was your turn. I'm going to go. I'm going to go. And you can just take the next one. Right. We'll just change the order up. Melanie says, I started the ketogenic diet in order to lose a few pounds and hope to help my swelling knees and my severe stomach issues. I'm a month in and I've lost 23 pounds. Swelling and stomach issues are gone. Energy and mood is through the roof. It feels good to step back and take care of myself too. I know those feels. Not so much about any like number on the scale or anything for me, but just like, having some of my health issues mitigate and get better, enabling me to do things like roller derby and that kind of stuff. That's super, super huge. Very, very happy for you, my love.
Jeremy got married to Amber and had a baby.
Well, that's exciting.
It is indeed exciting.
I mean, that sounds really scary to me because kids are terrifying to me. But like, if a parent if being a parent is a thing you want and that's a thing you got, I'm very, very happy for you.
I'm assuming that it is, given that it was shared in the good news thread.
Yeah. It's a fair assumption. Sarah says, I'm still enjoying my job that I started 6 months ago. It was a huge change to go from public schools to prison. Gosh, I bet there's a story there, but I'm really enjoying it so far. My boyfriend and I moved in together again after a bit of a break as we looked for jobs and moved from out of state, and it's continuing to go quite well. We have a lot of fun together and laugh a lot. Super important. Very happy for you, Sarah.
Claire said, my amazing husband is willing to support me while I try to pursue being an artist. We've been married for 17 years and our relationship just gets better and better.
Oh, I know those feels
So
because
sweet.
like Celeste could very easily get so mad at me every time I'm like, hey, so I'm doing this new thing that's going to take up a lot of time. There's a moderate risk of personal injury and I have to spend a lot of money to get into it. And she's just like, oh, sounds like fun. Go do the thing, because she's amazing. So yeah. Aaron says, Wyoming AIDS Assistance just reported the final numbers for our donation drive/drag queen event and thanks in no small part to our friends at Cognitive Dissonance, their show, which is Waiting for Wrath, and our listeners, really the best listeners, which your listeners can refute with donations to yoaids.org. Nice. I see what you did there, friend. I see what you did there. We beat our $25,000 goal to raise $28,100 to assist people in Wyoming living with HIV/AIDS. So that's pretty great. I would agree. That is pretty freaking awesome.
Our friend Joan said that she is going on her first date since coming out as trans. On this Saturday is when her date is.
I
awesome.
need to know how that goes. That's amazing. Victoria, I got diagnosed with general anxiety disorder and depression, so it's being treated. My life is getting better and better. Amazing.
Jason, another friend of ours, so many friendos, discharged from my bariatric doctor today for losing enough weight to reduce some health risk and keeping it off. I also moved to an awesome new place where we will be hosting you being Callie, right, for your visit to LVH in November. What is LVH?
Lehigh Valley Humanists.
Oh, yes, that's right. And Roy Speckhard commented LVH on its very active calendar when he visited us the other day. I don't know who that is either.
I think he is with the American Humanist Association, I think.
Very cool.
I could be way wrong about that. Danielle, who hosts a fun podcast called Between Us Girls, says we're going to be on the Women in Podcasting panel and doing a live show at Modern Love Podcast Convention in New Orleans, August 10th through 12th. I am super excited. Can't believe they even asked. And I can, because I was on their show Between Us Girls and it was so much freaking fun. So I totally believe it.
Laura said, I'm still standing. Hugs.
And yeah, we love you lots. Mwah. Paula says, for the past 10 days, I've been sleeping much better than ever in the past 2 years. When I got my sleep apnea treated, I know those feels. I know those feels.
Dan started going to classes at the gym 2 weeks ago, and he says it has made a world of difference.
Awesome. My friend Rachel says, 5 years ago today, I birthed this amazing little human, and there is a picture of an amazing little human eating ice cream, and that amazing little human is super, super adorable.
Angie said, this isn't super new, a couple weeks old now, but I have added a bird to my little family. I have wanted a cockatiel forever, and I finally have him. I present Atticus, not a finch.
Oh, God, I love it so much. And like super, super cute burb.
Oh. I like the next one a lot.
Right? Carrie says, I adopted my new best friend, and is an adorable little bubber.
Oh, she looks just like Penelope. I love her. She mine. Sorry. Your dog's not your dog anymore. My dog. Every dog is my dog. Amanda is going to a party on Saturday for her granddaughter turning 3, and she gets to bring the balloons.
Love
Fancy.
balloons. Dear friend George, I'm doing way better than I would have expected to be at this point in my divorce. Awesome. Wishing you all the love as well. Love you lots, my friend.
Wait, I don't understand what this means. We have been rehoused 1 year and 3 weeks. Oh, okay.
So
I get it.
I'll
Okay.
take this one because this is my friend James. James is someone I went out to interview, he and his wife, for the other show that I've kind of stopped production on for reasons. But flew out to California to interview them when they were homeless, and they have been rehoused for 1 year in 3 weeks. And Kat, who is James's wife, has been a staff member at Trans Lifeline just over a year. And James is celebrating 6 months with the Trans Empowerment Project. Their youngest just turned 4 last week, and their oldest is about to complete her first year of school. An absolutely gorgeous family who I love dearly.
A different James, no relation, said, my Zoloft is finally working and my depression is much more manageable. Since I quit drinking, I can remember an entire day instead of just the first half. Success. Yes.
James has had quite a journey, and I am super proud.
It's amazing how much of a difference it can make.
Don says, I recently interviewed for and was offered a better job with my current employer. I signed the official offer letter today and can't wait to start in 2 weeks. Hopefully that means more money.
Ollie, who is a good friend of mine, said, I am starting testosterone.
They're friends with me too.
My friend more. I'm starting testosterone on Thursday. Also, I met my goal for a fundraiser and I will be able to move into my own apartment. I want to give Ollie special hugs and shout outs because they have been going through a really rough time lately with a lot of different things going on in their life, but they are picking themselves up and taking charge. And I am very proud to see where they go from here. So lots of hugs for you, Ollie.
And reaching out, because I know that can be difficult.
Yes.
I know they've been reaching out a lot, and like saying it here publicly, super proud of you. Mwah, love you lots. Really, really glad that you're taking those good steps. Kristen, I helped start a satanic group in Richmond, Virginia with the intent of becoming an official Virginia chapter of the Satanic Temple. Love what those folks do. Super into it.
Raphael says, my oldest son got accepted into a special high school for gifted kids where all the classes are advanced placement and college prep. I am proud of him.
And we are too.
Yes, we are.
Dear friend Rob, I finally got a job with benefits as myself, publicly transitioning in education in the South. I also got new meds, which seem to be helping. And if there is anyone in the world who deserves it, it is Rob.
Totally agree.
Like just one of the warmest, kindest people I've ever met in my life.
Sean has lost 60 pounds and got a full-time job that doubles his yearly income. He says it's enough to pay my bills and live fairly comfortably on my own.
That is awesome. I know those feels. I am financially stable for the first time in my life as of about 2 years ago. So like, so much less stress. So much less stress. I sentence good. Mark says, I am traveling to Mongolia next month to see my brother and his family, including my 7-month-old niece for the first time.
That's
I want to
so cool.
go. Yeah, that's awesome. Like, I mean, I travel around the country a lot, but like, I want to go to Asia. I want to go to Europe. I want to go to South America. I want to go to Africa. I want to go to Antarctica. I want to go off the edge of the flat earth.
Into the hollow earth where the aliens and Nazis are.
Oh, God. Good news episode, right? Good news episode.
April, I am beginning my first round of doctor visits with my brand new real insurance for my new job.
Amazing. Katie says, I sold my first hand-dyed skein of yarn, which is crafty, nerdy as fuck, but I'm excited as hell about it and shipped it off this afternoon. Listen, I'm jealous because I wish I was that crafty.
Samantha says, my girlfriend and I celebrate 5 years together this month. She is amazing and awesome, and I love her more every day. 5 years of building memories that keep me warm, a history, and a life I would never dream that I would have.
Sarah says, went to the beach with my partner, had a picnic and enjoyed the sunshine. Then we got ice cream, and it doesn't sound like the day could have gone more perfectly.
That sounds pretty perfect. Mary Beth said, Eric and I are going to the museum center to see the Asian clay soldier exhibit on Sunday. And then the week after, we're heading to New York to see friends for a month. A month?
Eric is childhood best friend, and Mary Beth is his mom and like a second mom to me. So very excited because she's had some stuff going on in life too that I won't put in public. But she's had some things going on, and she's bounced back pretty hard from it too. So very, very excited for her. Love you, mama. Mwah. Emily says, I'm getting a house. And I'm saying I wish I was getting a house because, God, I hate this apartment. Good news episode, Callie. Good news episode.
Dan, this is super cool. In the past year, I've realized that my passion in life is for studying and making Chinese food. And in less than a month, I get to go to Hong Kong to train with a chef there.
That is incredible. Holy shit. Like, that sounds like such an amazing adventure. Oh my God. I'm going to need to hit him up in private and hear all about that.
Send us snacks.
Rebecca. Yes, send us. Well, he lives in Cincinnati, so like I'm just gonna be like, hey, bro, can I shoot you a couple of bucks and just have you cook for me? Is that a thing we can do? So Rebecca, 62 days until I get on a plane in Oakland and get off in Rome, with an apartment less than a mile from the literal center of ancient Rome. There is so much going on here that I am jealous of.
So many great travel things going on. Karen Garst, who has been on our show, fellow atheisty person, just got a great report on my heart echocardiogram. All is good.
Gosh, I know how that feels.
Yeah.
Relevant to recent experience. And finally, Anna went on vacation and says, my son is graduating high school. I love and am loved. And I can't think of a cheesier and better way to end this good news episode. And listen, I want to give a shout out to anybody who may have read this and seen this and said, you know what, I'm not sure I have good news to share. If you're not in a good place, you're still valid, you're still loved. And I hope, if nothing else, that we gave you something to smile about over these last 45 minutes to an hour or so. Sending you out all of our love. That, my friends, is going to do it for this episode of the Gaytheist Manifesto. If you think what we do here is important, please share this around to your friends. Search the Gaytheist Manifesto on Facebook and Twitter to find us there. I'm at Gaytheist Callie on Twitter. You can email us at podcast@theGaytheistManifesto.com. We are a part of the Trans Podcaster Visibility Initiative. We are a group of trans podcasting badasses working to bring more trans voices into podcasting and other content creation. Search the Trans Podcaster Visibility Initiative on Facebook for more info. And does Ari have a thing?
I have one final piece of good news to share. I have an announcement to make. I have been invited to become a member of the intellectual dark web. For those who aren't familiar, the IDW, as it has come to be called, is an international shadowy cabal of the greatest mediocre white men the world has to offer, featuring the likes of Sam Harris, Dave Rubin, Jordan B. Peterson, and so on and so forth. You get the gist. Recently, the New York Times published an article profiling these intellectual titans of our generation who are unfairly silenced and oppressed, yet also simultaneously get millions of views and downloads, sell out events around North America, and make gobs and gobs and gobs of money each month on Patreon. I am honored to be considered for the ranks of these intelligentsia, and I, too, share their noble defining belief. Namely, that while it's brave enough to fight for change and progress and all that stupid shit, the most heroic quest a person can undertake is the fight to uphold the status quo. And so I would like to use this platform to publicly declare that I accept the offer to join their ranks, and as a result, there are going to be a few changes around here. First of all, I will be posting on my Ari Stillman Facebook profile much less because social media is a toxic cesspool of cultural Marxist and virtue signalers. I will still post there occasionally, but only to whine about how social media is a discourse-killing echo chamber that only serves to bloat the user's ego, while passive-aggressively insulting and blocking any and all commenters who dare to criticize me. Secondly, I will have to shut down my previous email, aristillman4@gmail.com, as I can no longer in good conscience support Google after the way they treated that hero, James Damore, for simply communicating gender science. Google, remind me to delete my Gmail account. All right, there we go. Now it's on my calendar. Also, my other podcasts will be undergoing some changes as well. Given that cis is really nothing more than a meaningless political buzzword designed to denigrate and otherize those who the radical gender Nazis disagree with, the title of my podcast with Marissa McCool will be changed to The Normal People Who Accept Biology and Won't Encourage Your Weird Delusions Are Getting Out of Hand. And that self-righteous train wreck, the SJW circle jerk, well, that'll pretty much stay the same, actually, just as a perfect example of how the special snowflakes on the left always paint the center with a wide brush. God, those people are so intellectually dishonest. Now, if you'll excuse me, I need to get started on earning my intellectual dark web points by infantilizing liberals for not conforming to my enlightened worldview, while also crying ideological purity every time a leftist criticizes me. Because come on, I'm on your side, nominally. And you can't point fingers until you clean your own room. And I'm perfect, so I can do that.
If you want to support the show and the activism we do, you can head to patreon.com/thegaytheist manifesto, make a per episode donation as little as $1 per episode. And if you can't do that, you can still give us a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts and share us around to your friends. It all helps and it all makes a difference. Before we go, I want you to know that if you're lost, you're hurting, you're scared, if you feel like no one